Hello, welcome back to Cultivate. I'm your host, Alex Canavan, founder of the CNY Women's Network, and today I'm going to do something a little different. Typically, I'm in the studio interviewing people, but today is a solo episode, which means it's just you and me. And I want to get into something I talk about constantly with the women in our community: networking. Not the kind of networking where you show up to an event, make awkward small talk, collect a stack of business cards, and then go home and wonder why nothing ever comes of it. I'm talking about intentional networking, strategic relationship building, the kind that actually moves the needle in your career, your business, and honestly, your life. I hosted a community call on this topic recently inside the collective, and the conversation was so good that I knew I had to bring it here to the show. So today I'm pulling the best of that content and going a little deeper, more tactical, more practical, and more honest. I'm breaking this down into 5 parts today, so pull up your notes app. You're going to want to write these down. Let's dive in. Thank you again for tuning into today's conversation. Before we get into the good stuff, though, I just wanted to let you know that Cultivate is now on Substack. After you subscribe, you'll get weekly episodes sent straight to your inbox, and once a month, a bonus newsletter from me where I share what I'm personally learning and navigating on leadership, community building, mindset, and building a mission-driven business. No highlight reel, no pretending I have it all figured out, just what's true in real time. You can find the link to subscribe in the show notes. I'd love for you to be a part of it. Okay, now back to the conversation. Part 1, why most people are networking wrong. Here's the thing I want you to hear first. Most people are doing networking wrong. And it's not their fault. We've all been taught to approach it the same way. Show up, make small talk, hand out business cards, connect on LinkedIn, wait for something to happen, and then nothing happens. Here's why. Most people are networking transactionally. They're thinking about what they can get out of a conversation, a lead, a referral, an opportunity, and people feel that. Even if you're not saying it out loud, the energy is there. Intentional networking flips that. It starts with genuine curiosity about the other person. It's about building relationships that are real, not collecting contacts. I say this all the time. Community is not built by asking, how do we get people to pay attention to us? It's built by asking, how do we make people feel like they belong here? And that principle applies to your own personal network too. The best networkers aren't the loudest in the room. They're the most present. Part 2, be quantitative. One of the things I introduced on our community call that resonated most was the idea of building a personal networking rolodex, or a CRM, if you want to get fancy about it. Most people are completely passive about their networking. They connect with people when it feels natural, follow up when they remember to, and otherwise just hope that the right relationships will develop on their own. That's not strategy. That's luck. What I want you to do instead is get intentional and quantitative about your networking goals. Here's what that looks like in practice. Set a monthly networking goal. Not network more, actual numbers. Maybe it's attending 2 events per month. Maybe it's having 3 one-on-one coffee chats. Maybe it's making 5 new meaningful connections. Pick a number that's realistic for your season of life and stick to it. Build your Rolodex. Start tracking the relationships that matter to you. Not every LinkedIn connection, but the people you actually want to cultivate. A simple spreadsheet works. Note who they are, how you met, what they do, and when you last connected. And of course, their contact information. Schedule your follow-ups. This is where most people drop the ball. You had a great conversation, you meant to reach out, and then life happened. Put it on your calendar. A follow-up doesn't have to be elaborate. It just has to happen. The goal here isn't to turn your relationships into a spreadsheet exercise. It's to hold yourself accountable to the relationships you say matter to you. Some of the biggest breakthroughs happen when you finally step away from the noise long enough to hear yourself again. This is Camp Collective, an intimate women's leadership retreat November 13th through the 15th at Vanderkamp in Central New York. Equal parts strategy and restoration, a weekend designed for women who are ready to rest, reflect, reconnect with their vision, and build a real plan to bring it to life. Think community building, connection, and reflection, paired with yoga and breath work, guided workshops on vision casting and execution planning, time spent outdoors on the trails at Vanderkamp, sauna and cold plunge sessions to reset, and of course, bonfires to close out the evenings. Camp Collective is exclusively for members of the CNY Women's Network. And right now, we're offering First Ascent access until July 31st to lock in the lowest rate possible, get priority room selection, and help shape the weekend itinerary before it's finalized. Only 4 spots remain, and access closes July 31st or until spots fill up. Learn more about Camp Collective at cnywomensnetwork.com/camp. And if you have any questions about becoming a member or joining First Ascent, email join@cnywomensnetwork.com to get the conversation going. Step away, come back with clarity. Part 3, the 3 things every strong networker does. Okay, let's get tactical. Here are 3 things that the most effective networkers do consistently. Number 1, they have a clear, compelling introduction. The number 1 struggle I hear from people is, I don't know how to talk about what I do in a way that feels confident and actually builds interest. So let's fix that. A strong networking introduction answers 3 things: who you are, who you help, or what you do, and why it matters. Here's a simple framework. I help blank do blank so they can blank. Instead of I'm a marketing consultant, try I help small business owners show up consistently online so they can attract clients without burning out. That second version sparks a conversation. The first one ends it. Your intro should make someone want to ask a follow-up question. That's how you know it's working. So practice it out loud. Refine it. Say it with confidence. Because if you don't sound sure about what you do, no one else will be either. Number 2, they insert themselves into conversations with ease. The second thing I hear constantly is, I don't know how to approach people. I don't know. I just kind of stand there and wait. Here's what I want you to remember. Everyone at a networking event is there to meet people. Nobody is annoyed you walked up. The awkwardness you're feeling is almost always in your own head. Here's a few lines that actually work. Hi, I don't think we've met. I'm Alex. Simple, direct, it works every time. I love what you just said about that. Can I ask you more? Or how do you 2 know each other? Perfect for joining a conversation naturally. Your only goal in that first conversation is to be genuinely curious. Ask great questions, listen more than you talk. People remember how they feel around you and not always the elevator pitch. Number 3, they follow up and they make it easy. You had a great conversation, you exchange info, and then you never follow up because you don't want to seem pushy or you don't know what to say. Here's a formula that removes all of the awkwardness. Reference something specific from your conversation. Offer something of value, a connection, a resource, an idea. Give them a clear next step. Here's an example. Hey, Sarah, so great meeting you today. You mentioned you've been looking for collaborators in your space. I actually know someone who might be a perfect fit. Would it be okay if I made an intro? Specific, generous, clear, no awkwardness required. The follow-up is where most networking falls apart. And it's also where you have the biggest opportunity to stand out. Part 4, the stuff nobody talks about. Here are a few things that came up in our community call that I think are underrated. Quality over quantity, always. If you walk away from a networking event with one genuinely meaningful connection, that was a successful event. Stop measuring your networking by how many cards you collected or how many people you talked to. Depth over breadth every time. Nurturing existing relationships is still networking. You don't always have to be out there hunting for new connections. Some of the most powerful networking moves I've ever made have been going back to a relationship I already had and asking, what are you working on right now? How can I support you? Don't overlook what's already in front of you. You don't have to do more, you have to do it better. We're all already carrying a lot. Before you add more events, more coffees, more commitments to your plate, ask yourself, what relationships do I already have that I haven't fully invested in? Start there. Part 5, community as a networking strategy. I want to zoom out for a second and talk about something I think about a lot: the relationship between networking and community. Networking is transactional when it's done wrong, but when it's done right, it becomes community. And community is one of the most powerful long-term investments you can make. personally and professionally. The strongest networks I've seen aren't built through aggressive outreach or being everywhere all the time. They're built through consistency, contribution, and genuine care. Show up, add value before you ask for anything, introduce people to each other, celebrate the wins of the people around you, create space for others to be seen. Do that repeatedly over time, and you will build a network that sustains you in ways you can't even predict right now. That is the foundation of everything I've built with CNY Women's Network. And it's the foundation of how I advise brands and organizations on community building too. Community is not a marketing strategy, it's a relationship. And the brands and people who understand that are the ones who build something that lasts. Okay, let me leave you with the 3 big takeaways from today. 1, get intentional and quantitative about your networking. Set goals, build your Rolodex, schedule your follow-ups. 2, the 3 things every strong networker does: have a clear intro, insert yourself with confidence, and follow up with purpose. 3, nurture what you already have. Quality over quantity, depth before scale. If this resonated with you and you want to go deeper on any of this, strategic networking, relationship building, community building, or how to show up more powerfully in rooms that you are already in, this is exactly the kind of work I do one-on-one with people. You can learn more about the network at cnywomensnetwork.com. If you're not already a part of the collective, our membership community, I want to personally invite you in. These are the kinds of conversations we have all the time with real women, real support, real community. We'd love to have you. Head to cnywomensnetwork.com/membership to learn more and join. And until next time, keep cultivating your community. All right, guys, that's it for this week's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in to Cultivate CNY. If you enjoyed this conversation, I'd love it if you left us a quick review and made sure you're subscribed so you never miss an episode. And if something in today's discussion resonated with you, please share it, whether it's on social media or directly with a friend. You never know how hearing this conversation might be exactly what someone needs right now. And I love to hear your feedback. I love to hear your thoughts. So please be sure to tag us on social media if you do share there.